Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Storm King's Thunder episode 20 here at Proficiency Bonus. My name is Michael. I am so glad that you guys are tuning in. I want to first of all apologize that we are definitely way late on our stream tonight. We are having all kinds of technical difficulties and issues tonight, so you're going to have to bear with us a little bit as we shuffle players in and out of the Roll20 system. You'll see people popping up into different places in the wonderful overlay, and things are just kind of crazy tonight. So we're trying our best. And whoever that was that just subbed, why would you sub during an apology? But I have a feeling it was someone I know. I don't know. I'll have to look later because I'm not on. I don't have the thing up because of all our technical issues. So, thank you for the sub. Made me feel really good about my apology. So, we're not going to waste too much time here at the beginning. Just a few announcements to kick us off this evening. I want to thank Team MZ for their support of small streamers like us. I want to also thank Many-Sided Dice for their partnership with us. They have an excellent 5e Magic Compendium out that's right now. If you get a chance to go check that out, I'm sure we'll post a link in the Twitch chat at some point tonight. So you guys make sure you check that out. They do offer a small discount for all of our Proficiency Bonus viewers and followers, subscribers. It's really cool. Has a lot of cool magic items that we've been implementing in a lot of our D&D 5th edition games. So make sure you go check those out. It's pretty awesome. Also want to thank a group called Nightshade Creations. They make really cool dice trays and things like that. I've got one right over here. I'm going to grab it real quick so I can show you. It's called the Dish of Shame. It's for those naughty dice that don't roll so well. You can take these to your gaming tables, set it kind of in the middle during a session. If you have a particular die that's not doing the right thing for you that evening, there's a spot in it right here. You go stick it right there. That's where it belongs. I'm going to be giving this Dish of Shame away at some point at the beginning of this year. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be coming up soon. So thank you, Nightshade. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and take you guys over to the overlay so you guys can see and meet our cast for this evening and get them back on here. Some of them are in the right place. Some of them are not. As they're trying to get logged in, get their videos going and things like that. Some of them might not have video tonight just because of the way the internet is being for all of us. So we're going to try our hardest and our best to keep this stream going and keep the game rolling. So last week we were in Bryn Shander, and we ended with our party being invited to a special dinner with the speaker, Duvessa. Also at the dinner was Sheriff Markham, and basically before the dinner was over, he offered to deputize everybody of the party, give them all the I guess the wonderful perks of being a sheriff's deputy of Bryn Shander in order to help them with this frost giant problem that they've recently come across. Before that, Lachlan had an experience jailbreaking one of the Zenturn's spies that was hanging out here in Bryn Shander. He was able to break him out with with an interesting couple of events that occurred, and. That really brings us to where we are now.
I must say, Vi, you did not mention Edgar once. He was such a key part of that episode.
Oh, yeah, we had a key part. Yeah. Molfin continues to test his boundaries when it comes to liquor. And last week at the end, he was suffering from pretty bad hallucinations. Where he met this little green critter named Edgar that seemed to hound him during this dinner that he was having. So if you want to go back and check that out, that episode is on YouTube. you can go to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe while you're there, and you can check out all our episodes up till now. Tonight is episode 20, so we're gonna keep chugging along here in Storm King's Thunder. Thank you once again for joining us, but now we're gonna just dive right back in to our adventure. If you guys are, we're trying to keep Moby moving along. He's having some trouble getting his voice chat hooked up right now, but I do believe that he is in roll 20 and will be able to jump on here. Thank you so much, Stumpy, for auto-hosting us, and all the viewers watching through Stumpy's channel. Thank you guys so much. So the story is told. You guys have just finished your meal with Duvessa and Markham. The rest of the meal, after you guys have determined that you wanted a little bit of time to discuss your next steps as a group, the rest of the meal kind of went without a hitch. Eventually, Molfin, Edgar kind of disappeared, and you started to regain your grip on reality and what was real, what was not, and sort of came out of your state of drunkenness.
Extreme inebriation.
You know, Markham, as a man of little words in the first place, realizing that you guys were going to need some time to come to a determination of what your choice was going to be, he made his way out of the meal quickly, after getting his belly filled up with some of the delicious food that was offered. And the rest of the meal just kind of finishes up. I didn't know if there was anything else you guys wanted to talk to Duvessa about, or if that was going to kind of be it for the meal. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. Is there anything you guys would be doing, or?
So, after as we were eating and basically Markham ate and basically Drew and Screwed, did he leave those medallions on the table, or did he take them with him?
He would have picked them up and taken them with him. Okay. Just because he's the kind of guy that would want yes, I'm doing this. And basically he would want the agreement and the handshake, the whole 9 yards.
Okay. Moby, bloody hell. It's going to be one of those nights. I'm going to have multiple personalities.
One of those nights.
Moby's going to jump off the table. Beyond that, I think we're good. At least it's Moby and Molfin go.
Okay. Anybody, Lachlan, Diana, Callista, would you guys be doing anything before dinner kind of finished up, or would you just kind of finished up your meal and...
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I kind of just want to get out of here.
Okay.
Is there any salt or pepper shakers or anything around?
Absolutely, yeah.
I've kind of casually tried to slip one into my pocket.
Okay, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check for me.
Alrighty. One of those. You go to eat with one of those people.
Oh my god.
You could steal everything on that table and no one would have a clue what was going on.
Get this over with.
Yeah, you have yourself a nice decorative glass salt and pepper shaker.
Ooh. Splendid. My souvenir from Bryn Shander.
They look pretty nice. They don't look like, they're not like, it's not like a king or queen's, but it's still pretty nice.
I wouldn't be embarrassed to show it in my home,
There you go, yeah. So yeah,
I'd say my little kleptomaniac, but I have no clue you did anything.
As you guys make your way to the door, you see one of the butlers, so to speak, kind of holds the door open for you, and you guys feel the cold chill of the air. You can see that it's getting dark outside, so it's getting kind of late. Sometime maybe probably closer to 7 p.m. now during this day. And you guys are walking out. Some of the snow kind of blows into the palace as the doors are open. You can see he's kind of standing there he's kind of cold, so he's hoping that you'll walk through the door quickly. He's kind of but trying to hold the urge of trying to yell at you to get out or something like that. So And you guys kind of make your way through the door, and the door closes behind you, and you're out into the back into the streets of Bryn Shander once again.
I'm heading
Alright.
back to Kelvin's Comfort Inn tavern.
Okay.
Yeah. Is the party aware of the whole go to the dragon's house next?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got that.
Yeah, I know it happened when you and Lachlan were talking and Molfin was at the door. I just can't remember if we had all talked about it or not.
Oh, you were there. You were behind
Yeah.
us. Remember?
Okay.
You were in between us, making kind of mediating.
I popped up.
Right behind Callista,
Yeah.
eager to see this dragon's abode. Because, magic.
While we're doing this, while you guys are walking, I need everybody to go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and that's right. Lachlan has the nat 20.
And I hope JJ can hear me. If JJ, if you can hear me, Moby, well, actually, I need everybody but Moby to make the perception check, because Moby wouldn't be able to see this per se.
And JJ
goodness.
says
Oh, wow.
he can barely hear.
He can barely hear.
Yeah, so he said he'd let us know when he's good, but he is still. Come on, move mouse.
Yeah, Moby wouldn't be able to see this. And,
Oh.
well, obviously, neither can Diana.
Oh my god.
Come on, give me something shiny.
Wow, we got this in the bag,
kill
fam.
it. Wow, we're rolling like crazy tonight. This is
We're
You know,
rolling
this
like
is all
the
Lachlan's-
technology issues.
yeah.
This is Lachlan's fault. If he hadn't rolled that 30, we all would have crit our freaking
Yeah,
perception.
I know, right?
Yeah, what
Thanks,
is up
Lachlan.
with that? A 30, then a 6, 9,
That's-
8.
That's roll 20 for you.
Oh,
Trying to
wow.
be random, but it's not.
So, Molfin, you kind of look over at Moby during the course of starting to walk out into the snowy streets. You guys are all kind of really bundled up as you walk out there. And you notice that there is a strand of Moby's red hair pulled up in his top knot that has actually turned jet black. Just like one little strand that kind of sticks up. Just like you've never noticed it
Gotta
before.
edit his photo now.
Molfin is going to try to sort of just move himself behind Moby as they're walking along, and as we're going through, cast Detect Magic on that, like aiming primarily at that little spot on the back of his head, see if he gets any funny senses from that strand of black hair.
Okay, what's the radius of detect magic again?
It's like 30 feet.
Okay.
Give me a second. Oh, I keep going over there. I have it popped into a separate window. There we go.
Detect magic. There it is. The duration you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see if a faint aura, invisible creature, or object. Well, since you're all kind of walking together, basically every magic item that everybody has is glowing with this aura of this magical energy. Are you casting it kind of on Moby's head? Kind of, is that where you're centering it?
Yeah, basically focused right on the, like if that black hair is, dead center of the back of his head, I'm aiming right there at the bull. That's the bullseye.
Well, that you don't. There's no sense of magic coming from the hair itself. Lachlan,
Yeah?
you do notice, Molfin, that Lachlan has a very strong magic aura coming from something that he has on his person.
What?
Do I see? Can I tell? Like, is it in a
Shaker.
pouch or something,
And-
or?
I think
Do I
Callista.
see-
Callista's basically all glowing because she has this this cloak on that's just like beaming with this aura. beaming with his aura and glowing slightly, as it always does. Does anybody else have any magic items on them?
I've got my bag.
Yeah,
Technically, Moby has the Cloak of the Manta Ray
yeah. Moby has the
that he
cloak.
got
Yeah,
from me.
yeah. The cloak is folded up in his pack, and you can kind of sense that faint aura. But there's a pretty strong aura coming from something Lachlan has, and Diana,
But
do you?
can I see like where it is on his body, or
Lachlan, where exactly when you stole Xolkin's
Yep.
dagger? Where did you put it?
I probably shoved it in like my boot.
Okay, yeah, from his boot.
everyone sees us
There's magic in my book.
focused and look at this, and then all of a sudden, Lachlan, what is in your shoe?
My foot?
Nice.
Someone's gonna sort of
God damn
walk
it.
over to him a little and.
I kind of back away from him a little and grab.
Don't worry, the little green man is gone. It has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
There was a strange black hair on the back of Moby's head. So I cast Detect Magic to see if there was something arcane in nature in this, and then your foot started to glow. Do you have something in... Are those new boots, or do you have something in your boot? There is something of great value on you that... We should find out what it is if you do not already know.
Oh. Well, I did kind of borrow something.
What is it? Let us find out what it does. It may be of great use to you.
I'll reach into my boot and kind of pull out Xolkin's dagger and be like, I found this!
Oh, it's...
Is this it?
I'm assuming that's the beacon of light now that he's pulled it out.
Oh yeah. This thing, as soon as he pulls it out of his boot, just massive aura of magic protruding from it. Yeah.
Yes, that is definitely it, my boy. If you don't mind, may I take a look at it?
Didn't the last time I gave you something to look, I never got it back? Oh, whatever. I hand it over.
Technically,
know where
I
you
offered that
sleep.
dagger. Technically, I offered that dagger back to you, but it was broken. You did not want it.
Oh.
Which I do still have it. Go fishing around for it, but after a moment, just say forget and cast Identify on the dagger as we're marching along.
Okay. You learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement to use. Changing. As you cast on its Molfin, first of all, when you look at this dagger, because Lachlan just kind of pulled it out and stuffed it in his boot. He never really looked at it whenever he
I was
was.
gonna throw it away at one point.
Whenever he was in the process of stealing it, he just kind of like grabbed it and threw it in his boot and just carried on, and then never mentioned it again. So when you look at it, you can see that it's ornately carved with these intricate snake designs, with a large flying snake kind of in the middle of the hilt. The dagger itself is serrated at some points and then rather straight at others. So it makes it kind of a unique blade in itself. You also notice that right where the blade meets the actual hilt and handle of the dagger, there is several different like small gemstones that you see 6 of them. They all look teardrop shaped, and they all circle around a kind of obsidian stone that's in the center. This smooth kind of semicircle stone that kind of sticks out in the center. Now, as far as the properties of this dagger, it is just considered basically just considered a magic dagger. It doesn't have a bonus. It doesn't have a plus bonus to either attack or damage. Because it looks more like it may have been used as some kind of showpiece or something like that. It may not have been used to... It's sharpened, but it may not have been used too much in combat. And you start to get, as you're casting Identify on this, it almost feels like your soul is starting to get sucked out of you.
What?
You start to feel like worse than when you were drunk as you're focusing on this dagger.
What have we found? Gramps, are you okay?
And then you kind of get the grip on yourself as the spell kind of, as you stop casting the spell, and you kind of almost feel absolutely exhausted. And you're just
Put my
sitting
hand
there
on his forehead. Gramps, did those drinks get to you?
I do not think it's the drinks that is a beautiful and probably fairly valuable dagger with some arcane property behind it, but
make an intelligence check for me.
intelligence or arcana?
Let's make this intelligence because it'd be based off of your knowledge of your reading of books and such.
Actually, let me toss this out. I don't know if this would impact or anything because of my background. Magic items, alchemical, I can double my proficiency bonus on it.
Go ahead. Yeah, you can use that.
Okay. So, intelligence, and we'll be adding an extra 3.
Okay.
So that's a 19.
19. Molfin, you've done some studying before of some ancient lore, and the magic that you're feeling from this dagger, it's you kind of have an idea that it stores pieces of other individuals' souls within the dagger itself.
What? Now, as I'm figuring that out, would I take that to mean with that roll that it just stored a piece of my soul in it?
You don't believe. Your intelligence tells you that it's more like a defense mechanism that the dagger has itself. That it's preventing you from gaining too much knowledge of it.
Okay. Well.
But whatever it is, it's extremely powerful and extremely dark.
Just what Lachlan needs.
Hey, Gramps, can I have that dagger back? I'm staring at it, kind of creepy.
Molfin's holding it for a moment, still looking at it, trying to figure everything out, and we'll look at Lachlan. Lachlan, I feel there is more to be learned on this. So I proffer I guess I will say, a temporary barter until I can finish my studies of this. I will give you this magical satchel that I took off those people who attacked us in the tower.
Interesting.
Here, let me show you a trick. About how large is Lachlan widthwise?
I'm not sure. Lachlan, how wide are you?
Shoulder to shoulder? Wait, like less than 2 feet.
Molfin's going to open the satchel over the head down to the ground and then pick it up with Lachlan inside.
Lachlan, are you just going to let this happen, or are you going to try to avoid it?
I think I'm caught off guard.
Okay.
I did not expect anyone to.
Okay, because if you were gonna attempt to avoid it, I was gonna have you guys make checks. But if you just let it happen, it just happens.
Yep.
All right. So Lachlan is now in Molfin's bag of holding, I believe.
And then, after a count of like 10, dump the bag over and empty out Lachlan.
Lachlan, you're laying in about a foot of snow right now.
That was terrifying.
Quite a useful little thing for someone in your line of work, don't you think?
Yeah, I
It can
suppose.
it can hold a rather large amount, as well. No doubt you could noticed being shoved in there yourself for such a small parcel.
Fair enough, but I want the dagger back once you studied it. It's really cool looking.
Oh yes, no, I am proffering the bag as you said I kept something of yours last time. This way, you have
I'm just
something of
messing with
mine
you,
to
man.
hold on to.
I clutch the bag of holding to me.
Awesome.
And Molfin's going to take the dark dagger and just sort of slip it away somewhere
Okay.
inside his robes to continue looking at it later.
Awesome. So Molfin,
Oh.
yes, Diana?
Have the rest of us heard or witnessed any of that?
Yeah, you guys were all standing around.
Okay.
You guys were all kind of like walking slowly towards Calvin's comfort.
Okay. Hey, party, are we still gonna go to the dragon's lair? Is that a thing we want to do?
We're meeting them at the tavern.
Oh, we
Yes,
are?
I thought our plan was to meet up with them, and then the large silver creature was going to arrange for a method of travel to and from his domain.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Where was I? I have amnesia. Hello.
No, technically, I believe you were off doing things helping people while the rest of us were hanging out and discussing things with dragons.
That's true.
Okay. So you guys crunching through the snow on your way to Kelvin's comfort. You make your way to the inn without too much of a problem. A lot of the streets are starting to clear out a little bit here in Bryn Shander. Now it's getting dark. A lot of the this type of market kind of town and city is mainly does all of its business during the day with only a few inns and taverns. So you guys arrive at Kelvin's Comfort. You can see that there's a good bit of a crowd amassing inside. Some musicians playing some music in the corner as they're starting up for the night. A lot of people sitting at the bar. A lot of people sitting at tables getting themselves a meal. And you guys see that Clarion is standing on the opposite side of the bar, kind of just like leaning up against the wall. Just kind of like watching everybody in the inn, kind of just like keeping an eye on what's going on. He's just kind of standing there, leaning up. Seems like he's just patiently waiting for you guys to arrive.
I'll approach him.
I will as well.
I see you've made it.
Yep, finished with the dinner.
Yes, hello.
How was it?
Interesting.
It was alright.
Delicious.
There was a small green chicken.
A small green chicken.
He had something to drink. We think it might have been poisoned.
Yeah, you gotta watch your back around here. So, what did they have to say? Anything important?
More political bull crap.
We were invited to become honorary guardsmen, which is kind of cool. And if we did, we would get benefits in the city and stuff, and that's nice. But there are also other things that we might need to do. It's a lot.
It sounds complex. What kind of benefits?
Just the kind that are like, we get a badge, and if anyone like tries to go up to you, you can just be like, "Hey, I've got a badge." It's like cool.
Oh, you were offered badges.
Yes,
And-
they're so fun. They're like shiny.
I'm really not inclined to take their offer, but that's just me.
What was?
I want to get out of this city.
So what did you have to do to get the badge?
Hunt more of the giants that attacked.
Hunt more giants for a badge?
Apparently.
Seems like a bum deal, doesn't it?
Gold would be nice.
Seems a little weighted. Well, I just took a quick trip over to my home to drop off the dwarves. I came back here to wait for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready, set, go.
First, let's walk. We're gonna walk out the southwest gate. I don't like to stir up the locals too much.
Fair enough.
I know how that is.
You would.
Nice. So you guys start making your way down. As the music from Kelvin's Comfort seems to kind of fade off in the distance as you walk through the cold streets of Bryn Shander down to the southwest gate. You make your way through, and Clarion transforms himself into his natural form. Is this massive silver dragon glistening in the moonlight from above, and
Wow.
you guys all kind of get scooped up into his. He kind of scoops you up into his front massive hands, and you can feel the breeze of this cold, chilling air in the mountains as he lifts off with these massive wings, as you guys are you flying, and you can see that Bryn Shander, these little campfires and torchlights get smaller and smaller and smaller as you guys lift off from the ground. You guys are way up, and eventually he gets up there and he's kind of just gliding. You hear him shout from above, "It will take but a minute." And you guys are just kind of cruising around. And
Hey guys, I have to warn you about something.
Let me guess, you're afraid of heights.
A little, but I think I've kind of worn myself out in terms of magic. So if we fall, we fall. Kind of had to use a lot of my energy, those things that happened earlier, at the town hall and the stuff.
Whose fault that?
Society.
Uh-huh. Keep telling yourself that, Lachlan.
Hold on tight.
Lachlan has always got someone else to blame, doesn't he?
Always. Not my fault.
As you guys see that they're up ahead, you can see like a couple of mountain peaks, and as Clarion soars between two of these mountain peaks, you get a glimpse of this this thing that I'm going to show you. I'm going to put it in all players' journals so you guys can see it. You should be able to pull up where it says Clarion's home.
Ooh.
Wow.
If you can see it.
Windy.
Yes.
That looks like an evil lair. He's taking us there to something.
What if you guys want to, you can make I guess this would be maybe like a history check. You'd want to make a history check? You can make one.
Sure.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, why not? Anybody can make it.
I'm too enthralled by the views.
Wow. Nice. Molfin? My goodness.
I know the history of every single tree branch. Might say I was written by Token.
Lachlan, are you making one, or are you just gonna let
No,
them?
I'm just like kind of staring at this thing like, wow.
Yeah. Basically, what on the next mountain peak, there is this large citadel that sits on top, blanketed in snow. You can see that a lot of the piles of snow have just built up on this thing. And Molfin, just by getting a glimpse of this, you can tell that it was probably built by humans a very, very long time ago. I'm talking probably centuries ago. And it parts of it look like some of the areas are crumpled, like it's a ruin. But other parts of it looks like they're pretty much intact. There are many different towers on the Citadel, and as you guys approach, he heads towards what looks like a little area that's like a little landing area where it leads up to a main door to the Citadel. And as he brings both, you can kind of feel the wings kind of start to kind of rapidly flap as he gets closer to the ground, like, and you feel the impact as his hind legs touch down onto the flagstone area that's kind of in front of this Citadel, and he kind of drops all of you, kind of lets you down gently into the cold, icy kind of flagstone area in front of this door.
Nice landing.
Thanks. And he transforms back into his human form as he's standing in the midst of you, and he looks at all of you and says, welcome to my home. And you can see that there are some torches lit in some of the windows, and there is kind of smoke billowing out of one of the tops of one of the towers, almost like a there's some kind of fire going inside in one of the locations inside the Citadel. It looks like.
Well, I am certainly glad I purchased these leather breeches before we were flown across this frigid air.
Oh, we got a Moby.
Hey!
Holy! There is a strange harried individual. He has a black pubic hair coming out of his head. And he cannot hear me say that.
Yeah, he still might not be able to hear us, but we can see him. He's here.
Oh, I'm going to reconnect my video because I lost everybody.
Yeah, we might lose everybody as quick as we get them tonight with all the technical issues.
That is okay, we have Stumpy here.
Yeah.
And
Stumpy.
Cloppity.
And Cloppity. We got Cloppity and Stumpy. Welcome, Cloppity and Stumpy. We're glad that you're here with us tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us and bearing with us through all of our technical issues tonight. So, Clarion kind of just kind of pats you on the shoulder, Molfin, as you're kind of saying this. And it's kind of like, I'm sure it would be a lot warmer inside. Shall we?
After you.
And he kind of leads the way and walks in, kind of just taking a glance back over his shoulder, looking towards Diana and Callista to make sure that everybody's okay from the cold wind and breeze from the just frigid air from being up that high in the sky, and his flapping wings not helping any. And you guys make your way into this Citadel. And immediately upon entering this place, you guys notice that it's faintly furnished. It almost seems like there are some things that have been placed around, but it's a massive place for just one person to inhabit. And it looks like things have been tried. He tried to tidy up the place a bit, like as if he tried to put like a few chairs in this corner over here as you walk in. He tried to put like these like candle holders, like these long candle holder things in areas. Like it's almost as if he tried to basically furnish this place a little bit. In one corner you see there's an old sculpture of what looks like a knight standing. One of his arms has been broken off, but the rest of it is kind of still intact, and it looks rather clean and polished. And it's wearing a suit of armor on top of it. Like it's made out of stone, but it's wearing a suit of armor on top of it. And the armor itself is actually nicely polished and clean as you guys walk in. And he waits till all of you kind of walk in, and it kind of closes the big heavy doors kind of behind you. These large doors into the main kind of like a mud room walkway as you walk in. And just like, welcome. I put the dwarves on. building a fire upstairs, and he kind of points over to these. It's almost like a curved stone staircase that leads up to a second floor. But you can see that there's a hallway straight ahead and a hallway kind of to the right that leads to a couple of other large wooden doors that lead off into other areas of the Citadel.
Nice place.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah. It's minimalist.
I don't get too many visitors, but if you'd like, I could take you around and show you a few things. If you.
Well, that sounds lovely. Let's do that.
Yes, let us. I'd be fascinated to see if you have a... Permit me to look through.
What did you glitched out a little bit there when you...
Seeking a library.
Library. He kind of looks at you with kind of a half shrug, and he's like, books. I don't do too many books, but I'm sure all of you will love this room. Follow me, please. And he almost looks like there's a little bit of excitement as you guys are seeing this. And he walks straight past the stairs down this this kind of long hallway. It seems like it extends on for several feet. As you guys are walking and you guys are starting to pass, there are these paintings hanging on the walls on both sides. And it looks like they're just different. Some of them are different families. Some of them are epic paintings of wars. Some of them are, it's like this random selection of paintings on the wall. Like one of them next to the other just doesn't absolutely make sense. And all of their frames are really ornately either carved or designed. And huge, like these really massive, like wooden frames that surround these paintings and things like that. And some of them are actually even inlaid with either gemstones or gold or things like that, all on the walls. And he's leading you down. He's not really noticing you guys, kind of like just like looking around. He goes to this one massive door, and he takes out this key, this simple key, and he unlocks the door and he pushes it open. He's like, and he kind of points his hand towards the inside, and he's like, after all of you.
I'll go in.
Okay.
Molfin is pretty sure he knows... Well, he knows what's in there in his own mind, so he's right behind Callista.
He's confidently walking in, the old gnome.
I know what I'm going to see.
So you guys walk into this huge room. Absolutely massive. It almost seemed like maybe at another time it was basically the main throne room, possibly, for this Citadel. And you walk in and you can see there are several sculptures of human people all around the room in different areas. It feels like you just walked into a museum. And you're seeing all these different tables, and it almost looks like there's some glass cases around. Some of them covered with frost and ice because it's just kind of really cold in this. I mean, it's protected by the wind, but it's still cold in here. It's just stone. And you can see all these sculptures, and some of them are broken. Some of them are statues of people all around. And it's truly breathtaking when you walk in. Some of them are wearing like these elegant amulets around their necks. Some of them have armor on. Some of them are wearing vestments made of gold and have different inlaid holy symbols inside the vestments. Molfin, one thing that particularly catches your eye as you walk in, you can see across there is a glowing blue glass case that is sitting upon like a stone. It's kind of like this stone slab that kind of sits up from the floor. And it's glowing blue, but you can't really see inside it because it's kind of frosted over.
beeline straight for it. What is this?
Oh, those over there are some of my most prized possessions that I have. And you kind of you're able to kind of like sit down, and you think maybe if you like rubbed it a little bit, you might be able to see what's inside. You kind of get a glimpse. There's some different things. There's a couple really ornate looking amulets with some inlaid gemstones inside. But then you also notice on the right side there are 3 rather large white dragon scales that look like they have a little bit of dried blood that kind of dripped under each one of them as they're sitting
3
there
rather
inside.
large what?
White dragon scales.
Ooh.
I'm looking over his shoulder. Ooh.
Lachlan's right there.
Now that is a rare sight to see.
He kind of walks over to you. Do you see something you like?
Other than yourself during the battle with the giants, I had not thought to be as close to a dragon, especially one of the chromatic color. But I see you have obviously had run-ins with at least one of the beasts.
Yes, he kind of steps over closer to the case and looks down, and he points and kind of taps on the glass just a couple times down there. Those white dragons, vicious monsters. And he kind of looks at you and he's kind of like, I know you guys were skeptical of me when you first met me, but if you ever see one of these, you either run or you fight.
Oh, there's no hope of taming the beast, then it sounds.
White dragons, before you even get a word out of your mouth, they will either engulf you in their breath and freeze you into, perhaps somewhat like these forms here. And he points to one of the statues. Or they would just prefer to swallow you whole, little one.
Perhaps this one beside me would be a tastier morsel. As you can see, I am slightly, older and probably bitter.
I'm not.
Remind me not to get on your bad side, Clarion.
No. I got these particular scales from Cryovane.
And did the beast meet its end from you, or is this just a parting gift from a wound that drove the creature away?
He kind of puts one hand kind of up on his chest like this, and it's almost kind of like he's rubbing like part of his chest like right here, and he's just like, let's just say we both got a piece of one another that day. And then he kind of looks over to all of you, kind of as he's seeing. He's like, these beasts are vicious. They are ferocious. And he looks over to Diana especially. He says, what you do is noble. What you do is kind. What you do saves lives. But in order to save anyone's life from one of these creatures, talking to it is a death sentence.
Oh, that's nice. Hey. Point taken.
Especially this one. Cryovane's still out there somewhere.
Let us not worry about such ones as that.
Well, do you know where he reigns?
He's been trying to increase his territory for quite a long time, but He hasn't been able to get past me.
I should hope not.
I've been protecting a lot of the areas of Ten Towns from him for quite a long time. Unfortunately, I haven't seen him recently. I don't know if that's unfortunate or fortunate, but I'm thinking that perhaps he's planning, or even worse, he's perhaps mating.
Oh God, I don't want to think about that.
I throw up a little in my mouth.
Yeah, no.
Because that's all we need, or more of him.
Should we not hunt the creature then and put an end to its tyranny?
I'm not even sure we will die.
This
Not even I have healing powers for that.
I am definitely not volunteering myself for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I want to save people, but I don't want to die.
He kind of chuckles a little
Then
bit at you,
just
Molfin.
don't die.
This Cryovane is immensely powerful. He's one to be feared, one to be respected. It's gonna take a lot of power to defeat him.
Well, I was going to say we could poison him with the beverage I was drinking the other night, but I left it at the palace where... I hope no one drinks that. Any more little strange green people running around, there could be an outbreak.
It's a thought. I like the way you think.
I quite possibly think that's the first time anyone has ever said that to me. I could get used to this.
He walks over towards Callista and Diana, and he's kind of gazing up at one of his statues that he has there. It's kind of this statue is kind of wielding a long sword in its hand and has a shield, and it looks kind of like it would be kind of like a cleric. It's kind of the statue itself is wearing kind of cleric vestments and things like that that you're kind of familiar with. He just kind of looks at it. He just has this pure sense of just peace and awe in his face as he's looking at these things, and he's just like, "Aren't they beautiful?" And he looks on it. It's just so amazing.
Out of character question, are these like ice sculptures? Are they stone or marble or?
Yeah, they're stone. Some of them are marble, but not very many of them. Probably
Okay.
most of them are stone. Some of them are broken, but cleaned up a bit. And it's like just like a random selection. It almost looks like he's been going around and he's been collecting these from other ruins or settlements and things like that, and have been bringing them here.
Beautifully crafted.
Yes. And he just kind of runs his hand down the side of one of them, and I'm so fascinated by humans. They live, but 60 or 70 years, but they live with such zeal. Us dragons, see, we can live on and on for centuries. We can take our time. We can see the things that we want to see. We can do the things that we want to do. But when you only live just a short time, when your lifespan is just a flicker of a spark, you have to live differently. It just fascinates me. He just looks like he's just like staring at this thing like he's just absolutely amazed by it.
Unfortunately, that spark can turn dark.
Humans as well. That's how I happened.
Wait, what was that?
Honestly, don't know. Hang on. the stupid, you know what?
Sorry, I had to remove my cat from the stream. Thank you.
Sometimes that flicker of life can turn dark in an instant.
I've seen that before. I've seen it.
As have I.
It just seems that sometimes the decisions we make take us on a path that some of us are not willing to go. And then, when you take that path, it's oftentimes too late for them to turn back. I've seen it. And he just kind of like has a little glimmer of disappointment in his face at first, and then he kind of looks back up into one of the faces of one of the sculptures, and he just kind of like looks back to you, Callista. But there's always hope. There was
But
always
that hope is hard to find.
It is. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like this, and he walks over, and he opens up one of the glass cases, and he gets this rock out. It's like this nasty rock. And he comes over to you, Callista, and he's like, it's kind of like this. It's like someone might come across this and think this is absolutely worthless. Just nothing but absolute junk. It's rough on the outside. Can't be used for anything. It's fragile. And then he all of a sudden takes it and he kind of smashes it up against one of the corners of one of the sculptures. And it pops open. You can see there's a bunch of amethysts on the inside of this rock. But you see, sometimes the hope is hidden under the surface. What we didn't always know what was there. And it's shining and glimmering, and that blue light that's shining from Molfin and Lachlan's like glass case is like reflecting off of all of these like amethysts from inside this like stone that he just like broke in front of you, Callista. And he looks at you and he's like, you may not realize it, but the hope is there. It's inside the whole time. It just needs to be let loose.
Guess I need to do some more smashing.
And then he kind of smiles and he's like, it makes you feel better too. Here, do you want to break this piece? And he holds out one to you.
Gladly.
And then
Lachlan, quick, duck!
Sorry.
he,
Did I aim there?
he also gets one of the pieces, kind of like breaks one of the pieces of amethyst out. He's like, he holds it up to his face. He's like, and also these things can be cleaned, they can be cut, they can be smooth, they can be shaped in any way and fashion to reveal even more beauty.
Yeah, but sometimes a rock is just a rock. It's still used for violence.
And he kind of shakes his head, nodding agreeingly. Yes, I wouldn't disagree with you there. There are plenty of rocks out there. I guess it's part of our job to sift through them. Search for the hope and where it can be found and how to let it out. He's like, oh, I value these things so much. And he reaches up and he pulls out that necklace that you guys gave him, that unicorn head, that silver unicorn head that he's wearing. And he unclasps it from the back of his neck and he walks over to this other sculpture that's kind of just across the hall, or across the room from you guys. He's like, oh, I've been looking for this piece for you for quite some time. And he stands up onto the pedestal and the cat gets in my way again.
The cat just wants you to hang this lovely necklace on it.
Here, Belle, come here. Let me get you a
Oh,
necklace.
kitty.
Don't you bite me. What are you doing? Crazy cat. So,
It's the white dragon!
so he, Clarion, like reaches up, puts this clasp this necklace around this statue, and he kind of like just runs his hand down and just puts his hand on the Maliki symbol, and just he kind of gives himself a smile, like he's really happy to put that on there, and then he steps down and just takes one last long glance up at it. And you can see that this place is like all like that. Like it's like a museum of all these different human type art things, artifacts, any kind of things that are like sculptures, paintings. It seems like that is what Clarion considers the most valuable thing that he can possibly, like gather. Like he doesn't have a giant hoard of just massive coinage everywhere, and he's not like swimming in coins as a dragon. He's got all these things that he's got set up as a museum that he's been going around collecting.
Molfin tries to hide this disappointment as he looks around the room.
So yeah, Molfin, you kind of just walking around, taking a look at some things, and just kind of
saying there really isn't anything that looked hugely magical.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're not really seeing anything with like arcane runes or anything on them or anything like that. You see a lot of, just you see the statues holding like real swords and shields with, just different designs on them that were probably hand painted and things like that. Just all these different art objects that seem to stand out that are really nice looking. Just may not be, anything magical or anything about them.
As he's walking around, I want to find the statue that looks the most lifelike out of them all, and just reach up and touch the tip of whatever weapon it has. If it's a sword, run the finger across the blade. Is it sharp?
You come to this. It looks like a female human. That has her hair pulled up. She's carved out of marble. This is one of the marble statues, and it's got a lot of detail to it. The weapon it's holding a flail off on one side. This flail is not carved. It's actually a real one, and when you touch it, it is sharp. One of the spiky points off the end of the ball of the flail is definitely sharp.
Most interesting. She might seem just about all I need to hear. Lachlan, what are you doing? Lachlan, are you conscious?
Did we lose Lachlan?
I do not know. I cannot see him at the moment. Where are you, Lachlan? Callista? Diana? Is anyone here with me?
Here. Present.
Oh,
Diana's just kind of walking around.
Yeah, I literally am. Anyways, saying, I forgot. Oh well, I'm here.
well, you are here. How is your young one doing?
Oh, my young one, the Griffin. He's doing good. He's sitting on my shoulder as.
Oh, yes, I did not notice him beside you.
Yeah, he just, he's very easy to miss sometimes. Very small. So.
Callista's gonna take her hood off or take it down. Since we're inside.
Okay.
Well, Molfin will pull out little piece of ration and sort of hold it up towards Diana. Here you go. If you think your young one would care for a small snack.
Oh, thank you. And I'll feed it to him.
Okay, as you are feeding, the Griffin Clarion kind of walks over to you guys after admiring a couple of other of his sculptures. He walks over and so, would you like me to show you to your rooms?
Sure.
And he,
Well, I would find that most agreeable.
okay, I think we got Lachlan back now. Is Lachlan back now?
Back.
Okay, all right. So, do you want to say something to Lachlan, Molfin?
Oh, no, I was just trying to grab our other cast members.
Gotcha.
I lost everybody's video for a minute, so it was like,
Yeah.
I'm just sort of floating. I can see me and Michael. Hello.
Yeah, and those of you watching tonight and on YouTube, we apologize. We're having all kinds of problems tonight with getting everybody connected, and just we're having issues. And the people on the screens are going to be in different boxes, and Callista's has a nice little map of Bryn Shander in it right now, and
And Diana.
yeah, she's gonna be Diana tonight. So if you guys see all that, I apologize. Most of the times we don't have this kind of a massive difficulty. So just internet is just being difficult tonight for us. Clarion kind of starts to kind of lead you guys out of this large room and starts to lead you guys to the stairs. As you guys follow him up the stairs, you can hear laughter in the distance, and you start to recognize the sounds of the dwarves. And he opens up a wooden door and kind of gestures for you guys to go in. You can see on the other side of the room there's a large fireplace along the side of the wall, and the dwarves are all sitting on these rather old, I don't know, maybe Victorian-looking old padded couches and things that are sitting around around the fireplace. Around this, there's also like a small table like in between all these pieces of furniture. And some of the dwarves are like laying sprawled out on the couches. Some of them are like kind of sitting next to the fire, piling more wood on, and they seem to be a couple of them kind of like laughing and joking around as they gesture, as Clarion kind of gestures you inside. And says, this will probably be the warmest place that I have.
Nice. I'll go cozy up by the fire and start chatting up some dwarves.
All right. So Diana heads up towards the fire, and and then he looks at Molfin. I think he might have said. I can't remember exactly who said this to, but he's like, "Oh, I promised you something. That was the whole reason for you coming here. Forgive me." He's like, "I'll make sure to have it ready for you in the morning."
I think he told me, Molfin, and Lachlan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he kind of like looks towards Molfin and Lachlan. He's like, "Oh, I forgot. I had something to give you. I'll have to see if I can find it."
We will gladly accept any aid you can offer to us.
And he says, make yourselves comfortable, and I'm sure you'll find this place very accommodating for a night's stay.
Molfin is going to sort of elbow over to Moby a little bit, because I think he's one of the only ones who heard what he said to Diana way back in the day. And as Diana sort of wanders off to the dwarves, just... See?
You glitched out on me. I didn't hear what you said.
Just sort of elbow Moby, and because I think he's the only one who heard the conversation at the floor of the Giant's Tower, and just look at him and say, "See, I told you, once she went small. Now they're dwarves." And then chuckling to himself and just sort of walk off to go find a quiet corner.
Okay. Clarion kind of closes the door behind all of you. You don't. He just kind of like locks. It doesn't lock it. He just closes it. And you hear kind of like the footfalls of him walk away. And the dwarves all seem rather comfortable. They're kind of just kicked back, and one of them is kind of over off by himself, sitting at a table, kind of staring at this axe that he has in his hands, just kind of with a blank kind of look and expression on his face, while the other four are just kind of nestled around. Two are sitting by the fire, and the other two are kind of like sprawled out on some of the furniture, kind of just like talking and sharing stories and all those types of things. While there are plenty of things to use to sleep here, there's nice furnishings. There's also padded furniture and blankets and things of that nature, and plenty of wood to burn. Is there anything you guys? It seems like Clarion wants you guys to use this as an opportunity to get some rest. He himself knows that you've had a long day, as he's been part of a lot of it. So if there's nothing else the party would want to do during this time, this would be probably a good opportunity for you guys to take a long rest.
Okay.
And it would also be a really good time for us to take a break for the evening. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our break now. And that way we can use the restroom, get a drink, things like that. Grab a snack if you need to. And we'll be back soon. Those of you that are sticking with us, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. I know we're having all kinds of technical difficulties. We're missing some people. But we're trying to keep on chugging away with some Storm King's Thunder here tonight.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. That's right, my friend. As our party now is kind of hanging out in a dragon's lair. How cool is that? I mean,
No lair actions, please.
no lair actions.
Better than the dragon's belly.
It's better than a dragon's belly. I was listening to a stream last night where right before Critical Role, they were running Tomb of Annihilation, where one of the characters actually got swallowed by a zombie T-Rex, and they actually cut themselves out of the stomach of the zombie T-Rex. And the way that the DM described it is this to all the rest of the party is it looks like this zombie T-Rex is giving birth to a human.
Like Ace Ventura.
Yeah, so it was good. I enjoyed it. So we're gonna go ahead and take a 5-minute break. So those of you that are watching, stick around. We'll be back soon, and we'll see where our party goes from here as they embark on their quest during Storm King's Thunder here. So we'll be back in just a minute. Until then,
Okay.
Stick around and hang out. gonna go back to our stream. Not that one. That one. There we go. Welcome back, everybody. As we continue on episode 20 of Storm King's Thunder. We do have Moby back, but we only have Moby and audio as of right now. So we will have Moby on our screen here. I'm gonna try to fix the nameplates a little bit right here so you guys can actually see who's playing. Actually, who's supposed to be who. And as we do that, our party have found themselves in the lair of their dragon friend Clarion, atop of one of these mountains in the Icewind Dale, in this nice, cozy kind of citadel ruin, beside a fire with a bunch of shield dwarves. What would you guys like to be kind of discussing as you guys kind of like calming down, getting ready to spend the night here for a long rest?
I don't know. What are you guys?
So 5,000 gold.
Right. So are we just gonna? Is now the decision-making time? Are we gonna prioritize these
Oh, I guess
quests, or
We should discuss what we were talked about in the dinner. At the dinner.
Yeah.
Well, what are our options? There's two, right? We either find the Weevil, 5,000 gold, and also do something that stops the Zentarum, or we become champions of Brinchander, sort of, and get badges. Kill some giants.
Badges? We do
Neither
not need
option
no
is optional for me.
stinking badges.
I mean, if we had 5,000 gold, we could buy all the badges we want.
And I'm not really inclined to have our names spread around the coast.
Well, perhaps we need to find a name to call ourselves, so that that name can be known rather than our own. We do distance ourselves from any actions that we may take.
Well, I thought the letter she already wrote down already has our names on it.
We can ask them to, right? But I mean, are we going to do something that's so necessarily bad that we have to have like secret identities? Isn't that just a little bit dishonest?
Everybody has secret identities, right? Right?
I never have.
Goblin
but-
Johnson.
I mean, what are the proposed team names then?
Well, I don't quite believe there is a proposition as of yet. A suggestion to protect family members. I mean, think of it this way, Diana. You made it very apparent to people that Gum Gum is your family when we were in Nightstone. If
Yes,
you do something that upsets, say, a large group of frost giants, and they find out your name, do you want them hunting down your family and turning Gum Gum into Jelly Jelly?
Oh God, no. Oh, you're right. You're right.
And this is why we name ourselves, or this is protect ourselves, but to protect those we care about.
That is very convincing. I wouldn't want Gum Gum to get hurt. Okay. You're right. If it comes down to needing a team name, we should definitely get one. But I don't know. What's everyone's thoughts and opinions on the whole finding the Weevil thing?
Seems like a great idea.
Yeah.
There's money, we go back to civilization down south. The weather is warm. Oh,
Ooh, warm
Moby,
weather.
you are
yeah.
rather quiet over there. What do you say of all this?
Yeah, Callisto or Moby. What's up with y'all? What y'all
Callista's just as
thinking?
quiet.
Hmm.
Moby, wake up!
I'm not. We may have lost JJ again.
Oh, bye, Moby.
Really, after such a setup, man.
Yeah, that was good.
Sorry, viewers. He's...
I'm actually dead.
I'm actually dead over here, he says in chat, so I think
Quick,
he's trying to get
Lachlan.
reconnected.
Give Moby mouth to mouth. He appears to be dead. Make sure to include lots of tongue. I hear he likes that.
He can keep it. He can choke. That's fine.
So, did this dragon say he would fly us down south if we were to want to go that direction?
He'd get us some of the way. I'm not sure he'd take us all the way back, but
All he said was some form of conveyance would be provided. Could be a catapult for all we know.
That sounds fun.
I mean,
All
I
depends on how
that.
they aim it. Well, I personally happen to like the idea of hunting down this weasel person. The additional funds would help us in any further endeavors we are taking.
Yeah, we
That
could
is
do anything.
true. I don't know. I feel like it might be irresponsible to let those frost giants still live in the forest near the city, and I don't know. I wouldn't want anyone to go into harm's way.
we were originally tasked for a completely different mission. We were dragged through here to inform Markham about his sister. None of this is our mission. We have no obligations here. We shouldn't feel guilty about leaving.
Oh, I don't know. If we're the only
Most of
people
it
who
felt like a
can-
guilt trip to me anyway.
I mean, that's kind of, yeah, guilt trips are mostly how I make most of my decisions, so I feel guilty and I would like to kill some giant.
Well, we did just kill 3 of them, and one of them was apparently their leader.
What if they come back and they're angry, and then they just sack the city?
Then we
What
can
if
rebuild it
ev-
with our gold.
What if they all come back and there is only the few of us, the small group of us, the few townsfolk who are willing to aid and not just cower in their homes, and one dragon barely beat back 3 of them and a couple of their rather large quadrupedal friends? What hope do we have at this point against an entire army of them? Perhaps with some more coin in our pocket, we may be able to purchase additional aid for this town with your portion of the money. We could better arm ourselves.
Half of that is going to charity, mind you.
Yes, half of your portion. We have already agreed on this.
Right, half of my portion. But hang on. Okay, Okay, you're throwing money in this, and now I'm getting confused. Homegirls from the forest, I don't know what dollars are.
Well, then, my dear, just sit over here and let the adults have a conversation then.
Swear to God, I could well, for that.
Diana begins to
make her
turn
be
red.
There's a small young griffin on the shoulder that's still cooked by the heat radiating off of Diana.
Yes. No. Salim is growling, because that's what I've named him. His name is Salim.
Salim.
There we go. Like her dead best friend.
Salim
And,
has sensed that her mother is not in a good state right now emotionally.
Yeah.
Callista, your little robot friend beside you is like
Yeah.
kind of hiding on the other side of you, away from Diana. having a strong sense that her emotions have rapidly changed.
I don't need the insight bot for her.
You can sense that the insight bot is scared.
Oh.
Right.
Well, I mean, it seems like the natural consensus is go for the gold,
Well,
right?
Lachlan shaking
two
his
of us
head.
are saying. Two of us seem to be saying this. Callista seems to be saying that we be staying here with the giants. She's not so much stating to go for the gold, but if we are only looking at these two options, if we are not dealing with the giants, then it would sound as a de facto vote to agree with me and Lachlan, which would put us at 3 out of 5 already. If we go
Wait,
by
so
simple
let's-
majorities, we win.
Okay. So wait, what's Callista and Moby's opinions again? Cause it cut out kind of for me and I didn't catch it all.
Callista doesn't want to do either.
Oh, okay, neither. Oh, so I'm the swing vote.
Don't people owe us money down in Daggerford anyway?
Do they?
Right?
I believe certain individuals were promised
What's
payment.
his name?
Hold on. Dawn
If I,
Amber Crown.
if I could recall, I think the only person that
The Ilmater priest.
Yeah, the Ilmater priest.
Yeah, so Dorn Ambercrown summoned Callista as a guide for the group. Diana was summoned due to a divine influence of Ilmater, hopes to bring to church. I don't know what I was shortening there. Lachlan reeled in by Moby. Yeah, so it looks like it's, from my notes, I'm assuming it's this Dorn Ambercrown who promised to pay Callista. None of the rest of us have any money down south.
Yep, just me.
Just 5,000 gold waiting for me.
That's
What's the most time-sensitive thing? What is... Like, if we left the city to go and handle this weevil business, would we come back and then handle the giants?
Sure.
Diana, go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Okay. I also wanted to insight check that shore from Lachlan.
Okay, sure.
So let me get the character sheet pulled up. I'm gonna do 2. I'm gonna do 1 for insight and 1 for the thing.
wow.
There it is.
You best hope she
Insight
tags Lachlan.
Yep.
And
Ooh.
what, intelligence? Where's my intelligence?
So you definitely incited Lachlan.
Hey.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Diana, you have this. You have the strong sense that the most time sensitive thing that's on the table between you guys right now, as you guys are discussing, is probably the giant threat. But even though that's the time sensitive thing, you're not 100% sure what the giant's next move is going to be. You do know, because you were there and because Molfin kind of reiterated it during the conversation, that who was their leader is dead. But that's not to say that one of the other ones could have been second in command or stepped up and have regrouped the frost giants to mount another attack. You could, it could be just about anything. They could be spread apart and just looking for a way back to their home. But if they are mounting another attack, you feel like it would come within the next few days. And when it comes to the weevil, you guys know the weevil is out there, but you have no idea, no earthly idea where you would find the information, or where you'd gather information to even find out where he is. So you think that is going to take a significant amount of time. And that's kind of what you kind of mull over in your head as you're kind of thinking about these situations.
Okay. So, here's what my opinion is as this person who whose opinion matters, which probably doesn't. I think that it would just be prudent to just check for giants. Maybe we won't even find any to kill, but just to scan and get a temperature reading on what it is that they intend to do. If they intend to attack this city again, leaving it without strong defenses is just irresponsible to me, and it's putting innocent lives in danger. Then I think we should probably go back to Daggerford, collect Callista's check, and then go and find this Weevil and collect that check. But that's just my opinion. I don't expect anyone to listen, but it's there. It's out there at least. A plan.
If I may ask, Callista, how much were you promised for acting as a guide for those 2 to 3 days to get the small group of us to Nightstone and back?
Do I remember?
Well, then we can just make it anything.
What is this?
What amount of money was she offered?
Yeah.
What's her payday?
You know what? I'll probably have to go back and watch episode 1. I don't want to say it was 25 gold. It might have been 50 or 100 maybe.
I think it was like 50 or 100. Like, I would be getting the majority of my pay afterwards. I was given 25 to start, and then they would give me the rest.
Yeah, they gave it up front. They gave you a little chunk up front, and they were going to give you the rest of
Yeah.
it when you got back. I think I remember that, but I'll have to go back, and I'll actually have to listen to episode 1 to see.
For roleplay purposes, Molfin will assume 100 at the moment.
Sure.
Callista, given the distance one would have to travel to collect on that remaining payment due at this point, is it worth the expense it would take to get you there?
Are you forgetting that was our mission in the first place?
I tagged along with Lachlan and Moby. I wasn't overly listening to what those religious folk were saying.
Oh, thank you, as the religious folk.
No, not you, that weird hairy-clothed woman in the car.
You mean my cloister sister?
The acolytic type woman.
Yes, my sister in religion. Yeah, sister in Ilmater.
Then there was that strange, funk-driven filth pile that drove the carriage. The strange bodyguard woman who was traveling with them. It was all rather odd to me.
Does Molfin have something against working class people?
Oh, that's funny.
It's just
Ugly people.
That driver was just as filthy as that woman who was up on the tower shooting arrows beside me.
Oh, okay.
The hair, the moles, very off-putting.
All right, thank you.
So, Gramps, real quick, the down in Daggerford, I think I may have some friends down there anyway who can help with our our plan to find the Weevil. So we're kind of 2 birds with 1 stone down there.
Well, this is true, but at the same point, if Diana is proposing a mere day or 2 stop to wait in town to see what happens, it may be worth to spend a day or 2 in Brinshanda.
Because it's such a nice town.
Well, it's an interesting place, but if we do this, then we can always accept Markham's offer and utilize
don't want to accept his offer. I'm not comfortable with that at all.
My thought behind it is gain the badges that will give us the ability to utilize his name.
And our name. I'm sorry, but I don't want my name out there.
Which brings us
I,
back to the idea of masks or false identities.
Why don't you
Ooh,
want there, Callista?
the goblin.
What was that?
Why don't you want your name out there, Callista? I mean, if we're helping people, is it that bad?
You could incite me, Diana.
I can insight you.
She's so excited.
Molfin will lean over to Lachlan and Moby.
Ooh,
I can sort of understand, Callista.
Are you trying to? Is this kind of like a deception, Callista? Is this a just kind of like holding back information, or?
Yeah, I'm definitely holding back information. So I guess deception.
Yeah, let's go ahead with deception because that's probably the best one for this.
Lying
Yep.
through omission.
Yep. Out with it, Callista. Out with it.
Callista really doesn't want her name anywhere on the coast.
On the coast, specifically.
Like specifically south.
So what's
She-
south?
She doesn't want her name to be spread around.
Interesting. What would Diana say? All right. Well, I guess if it makes you uncomfortable, then I mean, we don't have to accept the badges. We can still just kill the giant and not get a reward, even though that sounds dumb as I say it. So nothing? Just cool.
Honestly, I'd rather just get out of here, but that's just me. If you guys want to stay, I'll stay, but...
I like the way she thinks.
I don't know. I mean, it would be just so wonderful if Moby wasn't a mute right now.
It looks like he jumped off the table and landed face first in a keg of ale, and is now passed out. So we asked somebody to give him mouth to mouth who had trained in the medical or healing arts, and I believe her phrase was, "He can choke on it."
That was the phrase.
But kind of while you guys have been discussing this, Moby's been on like the other side of the room, kind of like walking and pacing. Almost kind of like I would probably, after what he's experienced recently, he's probably kind of muttering to himself a little bit.
Okay, maybe should someone sit down and talk to him later?
I'll talk to him later.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, you guys
hey,
all
that's
feel
one
like
thing that we decided.
you guys all feel like maybe he's not really in the best state of mind to be talking to anyone right now, probably. As for some reason Moby has been changing rapidly. Started happening ever since outside of the caves, when you guys started to see this interesting bird flying around him all the time and squawking at him, and he seemed to be talking to it. And things have been going downhill since then.
Diana, there is also the option. Ugh, I hate this, but if you want the badge and none of us take it, if you want that on your shoulders.
Oh, Sheriff Diana.
Well, it's not necessarily that I want the badge, it's that I want to help people. And I mean, if no one else wants to... I don't know. The badges isn't important. A reward is nice and stuff, but...
They should reward us.
My Pantheon, just... one of its values is just to be generous and to just not need a reward to do things. And I just, the reward doesn't really matter to me. I'm just so, like, narrow-minded on this. But I don't want to impose my will on anyone if if it's the decision of the party to not stick around for a couple days and just, wait and see what happens, maybe walk into a forest, and if, giants happen to go by, slay them. If that's not what anyone wants to do, then what can I do? I've given my opinion, and I will let others decide.
What if we compromise with Markham? We could give his townspeople advice on how to fight giants.
True. I mean, building the city's defenses that would make me feel better. Just assisting the city in building its defenses rather than just leaving it without any help. Because, I mean, let's be honest, those giants would have come into the city if we weren't here.
This is very true, but to build defenses for a town of this size requires a rather sizable capital investment. Who among us has any money to put towards building defenses for these people?
I was thinking more along the lines of, we just, tell them, hey, this is a cool thing to do, and then, peace out. But
the cool things to do would be have a giant silver dragon attack, have a strange drow female morph into a four-legged creature, jump on a thing's chest and try to tear its throat out, have a tiny ancient gnome lift one of the beasts into the air. These are all things that made this fight go well for us.
Yes.
If they do not have these capabilities...
And that levitate won't happen again because giants weigh way more than that.
I knew it! I knew it!
So enjoy it while it lasted, Molfin. Enjoy it.
There are other ways, my friend. Do not challenge Molfin. I'll dick whisper.
well, we could negotiate something. I don't know. I don't know if Clarion necessarily guards the city as one who hovers over it all the time does. I don't have any background knowledge, I don't think, of if he does or doesn't. But if we could convince him to keep an eye out for frost and to the city, then that's one thing, that we're not leaving the city entirely alone.
But did he not say something about being on task from
Queen Dagger.
that social circle she represents to hunt cloud giants? I don't think he'd necessarily be willing to just stand around in one location.
You guys do recall that they're kind of on their way back from that current mission. He was actually what his plan is to do tomorrow. Did you guys kind of grasp from? I don't remember exactly who he said this to, but he is planning on taking the dwarves back to Mithril Hall.
Right, he told me,
to
I
Queen
think.
Dagnabbit probably tomorrow
Yeah.
after he gets everything situated with you guys.
And if we go south, we'd be going with him to that part.
Well,
I'm just not. I don't know. I can't leave the city with giants still in the forest. Or at least without some guardian watching over the city. I will stay myself if I have to. I can't
well,
go.
what about your pet? Certainly that could serve as guardian.
He
They're babies.
is barely a month old.
Look at Lachlan. He's merely a baby.
What?
Callista chuckles.
Lachlan, how old are you now?
Like
Counting on his fingers.
70?
Oh, see, he hasn't even hit up triple digits yet. A mere toddler.
Well, now you sound like an elf.
What do you mean by that? I am 375 years old.
But I mean, my people live forever, and I'm a half elf, so it was always a thing, like, oh, when you're 100, well, I'll be 500, and you'll just die. It was pretty messed up.
Oh, so you are racist. I understand now.
I don't think that's what she was.
That's-
But okay.
Oh, these gnomes, I tell you. Gotta love them. So you guys have been talking for quite some time. All the dwarves are like snoring loudly, kind of passed out and asleep. The fire's still kicking in the fireplace as they put a bunch of logs and things on the fire to hopefully make it through the night as they're passed out.
It appears this discussion will be resolved this evening. I shall find a nice quiet corner and rest my weary self for the evening.
All right. Okay. I mean, if we waited out until Homeboy Dragon got back, then we could leave if his task was finished and he could just sit by with the city. And that's all I'm going to say. Good night. Had to squeeze that in there.
So
I
Diana's
guess we'll go.
headed off to go to sleep.
Yeah, Diana, it's just gonna go to bed, take a nap.
So it seems like our party is still
Can I try to find Clarion?
What are we going to do? Oh my gosh.
Can I try to find Clarion?
Sure. You can.
I just want to call it Cloppity. That is exactly what I was going for with that.
Yeah.
Cloppity in Twitch chat, Grandpa calling people racist, young ones boasting of their longevity. Oh my gosh, someone get the mashed potatoes. It's all a family dinner now.
It sounds exactly like Thanksgiving at my house. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, so Diana's headed off to sleep. Lachlan, Callista's going to go try to find Clarion. Lachlan, what are you going to do at this time?
Hey, Gramps.
If he follows Molfin over to his corner and thought dagger in both hands.
Oh, you see so he sees the dagger in both of your hands?
Yeah, if he follows over first, he's going over saying he's going to sleep, and he's going to try to attune to that thing.
Lachlan, you are seeing Molfin. He turns around quickly, and he's holding that dagger that you gave him in both of his hands.
Have you found anything new?
I'm rather trying to figure it out now. I was trying to sit and get away from all the racket so I could have a nice quiet spot to work in privacy.
Oh. Be careful, don't cut yourself.
So you guys are having that chat as he's doing that. Callista, go ahead and make a survival check for me. Because you are looking for Clarion in a place that you're not familiar with, and this place is very large.
Oh. Man.
You kind of make your way through some doors. You're kind of moving across now. This place is you have dark vision as a half elf, I believe, so you're able to see for the most part. It's really cold in the hallways, so you're having to kind of cloak up and get yourself kind of bundled up as you're making your way through. You don't seem to be making any headway, and eventually you find yourself outside. As you walk out onto this, what's to be kind of like maybe a smaller area of a tower that's kind of like an open area that kind of comes out. There's the flagstone.
I'll light
underneath your
my
feet.
hands so I'm warm.
Okay, yeah, you're lighting your hands so you're warm. All of a sudden, you hear the swooping of these very large wings above you. And you see the glimmering silver dragon, Clarion, flying back down to land kind of like right next to you where you stand. But before he lands, he kind of almost starts to hover, and this large amount, this wind is just like blowing all throughout you, this cold wind, as he's like hovering above you, and he kind of like looks at you and he's like, "Shh, quickly, come with me." And he holds out his hand to like,
I'll take it.
Okay,
I'll
so
snuff my flames, considering he's probably wanting me to be stealthy. So.
yeah. So he grabs you quickly and he starts to swoop off. You go very high into the air. So a lot of the clouds have been breaking up recently. You can see a lot of the moonlight now kind of like shining. He glides over a few of the mountaintops through this area that's kind of like a pass. And then you start to see that there's a large river that it's so romantic. Yeah, yes.
God damn it!
Diana going to be mad, you man.
I
I'm
can
just saying.
show you the
Show you the
world.
world.
Shining, shimmering, splendid. Yes, as you guys are flying, and all of a sudden,
Over sideways.
all of a sudden, you see a river. That's still it's flowing freely through some of these this mountain pass. You can see on the river from very far distance, and you can see Clarion is kind of looking over that way. There is a very large wooden ship that is in the river, kind of docked there, kind of just like anchored to the side, and it seems like it's stationary. You can see on the ship there seem to be a frost giant and two of those large white wolves that you have seen before on this ship. It looks like the frost giant is kind of finishing up gathering some materials and like putting some things in different places, and every once in a while, just in this short time that you guys are spending kind of like flying over, it seems like Clarion is trying to just glide and hold himself very still, to try to keep himself as out of view as he can. He's kind of flying a little bit lower towards the peaks, so it kind of makes it so that he's kind of hidden in between the rocks. And you can see that the frost giant kind of looks out. It's almost like the frost giant is waiting, and then goes back to kind of putting some materials up, kind of piling up some barrels and putting some things in wooden crates and boxes, and sets them all around the ship. The ship is massive. It's pretty huge. Extended long ways, could fit a lot of people and different materials and merchandise on it. And then Clarion kind of gives you just a little wink as he looks down towards you, and then turns to glide around one of these mountain peaks and flaps back over towards his citadel. Lands on that same opening. The wink says it all, right, Diana?
Yes.
And he comes to a halt at the top of that same, and kind of sets you down back on the outside. And it seems that we found what may be a piece of what was left over from Bryn Shander.
What do you think they're doing?
I glided over a little bit before. Seems like he must be waiting on the rest of them to arrive. This must have been how they got so far inland to begin with.
Do you think we should ambush them?
It could be done.
I feel like whatever they're waiting for, we should interrupt it before it happens.
could be a benefit. There could be more below deck, but there also could be, the rest of them could be out. It's hard to say. Timing is everything in this situation.
Could I see what supplies they were handling, or is it all just crates and stuff?
From the distance and it being nighttime and everything, it's probably hard to tell. So you're probably not 100% sure. It was just, it's, you know, pretty much all that you could see was just like the highlights of the moonlight on things, and even though it's such a massive ship and things, it was still pretty far away. But you definitely recognize the frost giant, and definitely recognize those wolves.
I feel like we should do something. I don't feel like we should just let them prepare whatever they're preparing. I know I want to get out of here, but from the looks of things, I don't think they're gonna stop anytime soon.
Clarion turns back into his human form and kind of puts, I kind of almost like putting a hand over your shoulder, kind of like just to get you to kind of go inside. As he's standing there in his armor and his kind of heavy animal cloak that he's kind of wearing, and he kind of moves you back inside. And so what has you up wandering around the Citadel this late anyway?
I was looking for you, actually.
I just wanted to do a quick sweep around the area just to see how things were. I don't trust these frost giants that are in the area. Don't trust them this close to my home.
Yeah, Diana didn't feel comfortable leaving them either.
The good news is as I was looking down there at that giant, I believe they are preparing their ship to depart. Where they are departing to, I have little clue.
Do you think they'll leave Brimchandra alone for the moment?
It's possible. It just depends where the others are. A ship that size can carry anywhere between 10 to 30 frost giants.
God damn. Before we go back tomorrow, would you be inclined to let me go back with you to scout it out again in the morning to see what's up?
In the morning?
Yeah.
We could.
Might give Diana some peace of mind if we know they're leaving.
Sure. How about we meet here a little before sunrise, right here on this same landing? You can't find your way here again, can you?
I can now.
He kind of nods his head and agrees. Sure, I will meet you here shortly before sunrise, and we can take another quick flight over there.
Sounds good. And if they do leave, and you said you're going south to take the dwarves back to their queen?
Actually, I'm headed to Mithril Hall, which is southeast. So
Southeast.
Just a little southeast. It's not as south as I overheard you talking Daggerford. Daggerford is
Right.
It's pretty far out of our way.
Yeah, I imagine so. But if you could get us a little bit south, that would help.
And he kind of looks at you and says, I could probably take you as far as Neverwinter.
That would work.
kind of nods his head and agrees. And so I'm going to go admire some of my trophies a little while longer and get some sleep.
Yeah, I'll get some rest. I will see you in the morning then. Thank you.
Yes. Have a good night.
You too. And I'll go back and get my griffin.
All right. As Callista makes her way back into the room, you can see that Molfin and Lachlan are kind of huddled in the corner of the room. And Molfin, as you're attempting to attune yourself to this dagger, all of a sudden you find yourself standing in what looks like a graveyard. It looks like gravestones are standing everywhere, but you can't read names on them. The grass doesn't look like it's been tended to. It's rather long and kind of thick as you start to kind of walk through. There's a faint mist. It's kind of all around. Lachlan's not with you. You're by yourself. And as you look down to the dagger, you can see where those teardrop gems used to be. You can see faces. And on the very top teardrop face, you recognize one in particular. Where the golden gem of a teardrop is, you see Diana's face. And then you look up and you see her standing in the graveyard in front of you. And her eyes open towards you and they're completely black. And then out of the shadows to the left of you, another woman walks out of the shadows. And you recognize this woman as well. It's Kella. Walks out of the shadows, and she opens her eyes, and her eyes are completely black. Then as you're looking down, you can see the faces of these other women on these teardrop-shaped gems of the dagger. And all these women start stepping forward out of the shadows. And where you stand, it seems like you are the black obsidian semicircle gem in the center. And all these women are kind of surrounding you. 6 women surrounding you. All opening their eyes, and their eyes are completely jet black. Just standing at you, staring at you.
Damn it. I'm sorry.
I think you might be muted, Matthew. I think you're trying to say something to me, but I can't hear you.
What else is new?
Digitio says, just a normal Tuesday for Molfin. That's it, man.
Look in the pocket. No alcohol. Diana, is that you? Your eyes look rather odd.
No response.
Is it me? Do I get to respond?
No, you don't. It's...
Molfin will take the dagger in his hand and he'll try, lightly touching the face and the gem face on the pommel of the dagger.
It just feels like a smooth gemstone.
Just walk forward, one hand outstretched, dagger sort of held a little ways in the other hand, walking towards the Diana figure.
Okay, as you start to walk forward, you notice that no matter how far you walk forward, the figure of Diana stays exactly the same distance in front of you, and all the other women stay the exact same distance away from you as you try to walk towards to get closer. And you see Diana starts shaking her head no. Slowly, just left and right.
What in all the written verse? Sort of running his thumb over the larger jewel in the center, sort of like pushing it, looking for some sort of like a button or catch on the dagger.
Okay. You kind of start to rub your fingers, but just nothing, just smooth gemstones. You don't feel any buttons, you don't feel any catch. And then, almost simultaneously, all the women at once, kind of almost just barely above a whisper, say all together. It's kind of weird how it happens. Like they say it all kind of together. It's just, I thought you loved me. And they're saying it right to you. Weren't we supposed to be together?
Molfin takes the dagger and is going to drag it across his hand. Does it cut?
It cuts. Yeah. And as it does, all of a sudden, this scene that you seem to be caught up in just starts to billow into this, almost like you're stuck in the middle of a tornado for just about a split second. And it just whiffs all around you, your beard just like blowing in this wind. And then as your beard settles, Lachlan is looking right in your face, and you've got this gash across your hand, and he's looking at you awkwardly as you just slit your hand in front of him.
Gramps, I told you not to cut yourself!
Where is Diana?
Taking a nap.
She's sound asleep on one of the cozy couches
baby
over next to the
griffins.
fire. Yep.
Are the griffins that... maybe this is best saved for the morning.
No. This is too cool.
Gramps, what's going on? You seem disturbed.
Well, I was sitting with this dagger, mind you, and going over it as we discussed.
Yeah.
As you came over, and then you were gone, I found myself in a strange cemetery, surrounded by 6 women, similar in positioning to me as these gemstones in the pommel.
This is sounding good so far. Go on, go on.
Diana was in front of me. Directly to my left was that Zentarum woman you were interested in, Kella.
I'm interested, yeah.
There were 4 others that I did not recognize. I called out to Diana. She did not respond. I tried to approach Diana, and I could not approach. And then she looked at me and said, I thought you loved me. I thought we were meant to be together.
I mean,
I don't know if this... It was strange. I do not understand why it was in a cemetery. And I do not know what this means that these women were saying these things. Is it a sign that Diana is harboring some feelings for me?
I mean, he ain't wrong.
I think you're right. Maybe we should go.
Back.
We should wake her up. We should go wake her up.
I love how Molfin just interprets all this. It's just so great. I love it. Cloppity says, ha 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 ha, no.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get this taste left out my mouth, but
You better get that cut bandaged up too, because there's now a little puddle of blood on the floor.
well, I suppose I am injured. Perhaps our cleric can aid me, and perhaps we can get some information here.
Yeah. She needs to fix you up so it doesn't get infected. You know.
One can be sure. Oh,
Let's go. Come on.
yes, I'm coming along. Stop pulling, Lachlan. It'll take me a few minutes. After all, I am wounded.
Oh my god.
So Lachlan and Molfin make their way over to sleeping Diana.
Jostle her awake.
Callista had just grabbed her griffin from Diana, was trying to make herself comfortable, but Callista, you now see these two gnomes, now one with a severely bad cut hand,
Oh my god.
holding this wacky dagger in his hand.
Can I get in front of them so they don't wake her up?
You can, sure. So
you
Callista
doing?
steps in front of you guys.
I thought you were supposed to be sleeping. Molfin, what happened?
Oh. Well, retells the entire story.
I'm gonna cure wounds him.
I wore an onion in my belt.
All
It was
right, yeah.
all the time.
Callista grabs your hand, Molfin, and you feel the wound just seal itself shut. Callista, as you pull your hand away, you have a little touch of Molfin blood on your hand as
I'll wipe it on Lachlan.
wipes it on Molfin.
I don't have a change of clothes.
A brand new cloak. I don't want to get it dirty.
I have a brand new cloak too.
As you guys
now-
as you guys are going loudly talking, one of the dwarves starts going and kind of like looks at you with a squinted eye and then kind of falls back asleep.
You know, theoretically, if that could wake up the dwarf.
Diana, you've had a really long day. I mean, you fought some frost giants. You had a dinner with the speaker. I mean, you're probably exhausted, girl.
You're right.
So, Callista, we are torn at what to do. I mean,
Where
what
did you
does
get
this?
Where did you get this dagger from, Lachlan?
We found it.
Oh my god.
Where?
It's a magical item I was examining for him.
That has Kella and Diana and a bunch of women?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, look at him. He has my blood in him. He could be quite the young... what's the word I'm looking for that these children use? Philanderer? Is that the proper word? I'm not sure.
So, Lachlan, this is your dagger?
Now, yeah.
Where'd you get it?
I found it.
Where?
I forget. I deal with a lot of daggers.
I guess you're being incited right now, Lachlan.
Oh.
And it looks like Callista wins.
Oh wait, I have a nat 20, right?
You do have a nat 20.
Oh.
But
Let's
you
use that nat
rolled.
20.
All right.
Okay, fine.
Lachlan uses his nat 20. And I know it's showing up currently on the stream as Diana's nat 20, but that's because I had to switch everybody, so it's really Lachlan's nat 20. Sorry, everybody.
Whoops.
I still have a nat 1, but I hadn't had to roll anything, so...
He uses the nat 1 on my nat 20.
Yeah, I cancel your nat 20 with a nat 1. No, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you think he found it.
Can I look at the dagger and see what it looks like?
Sure. If as long as Molfin will give it to you.
Can I see it?
I suppose as long as I get it back, I need to return it
course,
to him to get my bag back. So
I don't
hand
want
it over.
I
I'll
hug
just-
the bag of holding.
Hey, Callista, make a investigation check for me. As you're kind of like studying over, looking for clues and things like that as to what this might be.
She's totally gonna find out.
Let me see something really quickly. I'm trying to find it here. Anybody remember what page in the player's handbook the list of languages was on?
No, but I can
Oh.
find out real.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to look up in the index here.
It's a race.
Languages, page 17, probably. So I remember there was a list of them on page 17. Let me see.
120.
120?
It's not
No.
17.
It's not 17.
Is it 17?
No, it's not one. It's not 17.
123.
123.
Standard and exotic.
Nice. There we go. Cha cha cha. Oh, yes. Well, not necessarily. Nope. Would not be that. Not be that either. I guess this would just be kind of a standard. You do understand Elvish, right, Callista?
Of course. Yes.
I kind of figured you did. You can see some as you turn the dagger over on the back side. On the opposite side, you can see that the same kind of design that the gems have in relationship on the hilt on the first the top side of the dagger.
Mhm.
There's a kind of like embedded kind of carving on the other side that kind of has the same shapes of the gems, but the gems aren't all the way through, so it's like kind of like just like the back side of the dagger. And
Mhm.
in Elven, there's nothing particular in the center circle, but around the teardrop shapes, there's carved names in Elven. And on the top teardrop shape, Diana's name appears, carved in Elven. Just to the left of it, you see Kella's name. Then kind of like the bottom left, you see a name called Avelina. Then the bottom name, you see Lucia. Then to the right bottom corner, you see Oriel.
A little bit of Tina.
And then in the top right hand corner next to Diana, you see Umi. As these appear to all be female names carved in Elven into the dagger itself.
Would I have seen this on Xolkin?
You knew he had a dagger because at one point, like in the battles, he would pull it out and hold it. But aside from him like holding on to it,
I didn't get a good look.
you probably wouldn't have had a too good of a look of that in particular, especially during the time frame and what you guys were doing and just the the manner
Well,
that
the
everybody
only two
didn't trust
people
each other.
that Callista knows is involved with Diana and Kella are Lachlan and Xolkin. So if it's not Lachlan's,
Process of elimination.
do these sketches look like they were carved by hand, or is it arcana in nature?
You can make an Arcana check if you'd like.
Yeah.
From what you can tell, you think they were carved by hand,
Okay.
and they look like they were carved at different times.
Which one seems to be the oldest carving?
The oldest carving, from what you can tell with your investigation, seems to be the one to the right of Diana, which would be Umi.
And I'm assuming Diana's the most recent.
Diana appears to be the most recent.
That motherfucker.
Oh my
Listen, you're staring at that thing pretty intently.
I'll hand it back to Molfin.
Thank you, my dear. So, what do you think it means? Does it show that Diana is harboring some feeling as I leave, or?
No, I think... I have a funny feeling this was Xolkin's. If it's not Lachlan's, it's...
Xolkin? How could... That guy?
Oh my god.
Did you find this, Lachlan? You said you found it? Where exactly did you find this?
I don't remember. Xolkin, huh? That's funny, huh?
You okay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's so awesome.
I wonder if he was using this to persuade Diana.
Gramps.
Molfin, I'd just be very careful with this thing. If there's a piece of Diana still on here. Actually, could I try and take my other dagger and scratch out Diana's name?
You can try. Sure.
I want to try to do that.
Okay. Let's just go ahead and I guess we'll just roll it and add your dexterity bonus to this, as you're kind of trying to meticulously kind of scratch this thing out.
Oh, not good.
Yeah, you when you take your dagger up, you notice that as you start to scratch, you're doing more damage to your dagger than you're actually doing to the actual name. Like it's almost like you're just putting like these really small scratches in it, but your dagger is like wearing out the more that you scratch.
I don't like this, Molfin.
Let us look at something. What you're trying to scratch, does it look like those faces for additional names to be printed?
Is there other gem areas where they're not names?
No, it seems to be a full circle of names.
Nowhere underneath that you could like put another name around the same circle.
No space whatsoever where there's any room for names.
I was going to.
Molfin, do you have any means to get rid of Diana's name? This one?
At the moment, I don't believe so. I am in need of coin to pick up some additional magical supplies and scrolls if we can find a shop that sells them. But, avast, I have not been able to obtain any during our stay in Bryn Shanda. We need to find a larger town, and I need a way to make some funds. If I can purchase the scroll, then I can transcribe these spells into my own tone, and perchance use a newer ability to perhaps destroy the arcane enchantment in said item. But that is beyond my capability at the moment.
I wonder if Clarion would know how to get rid of this. I feel like Diana's affected by this somehow. I don't like that her name's on this thing. Doesn't bode well from what you've explained.
Well, it seems to... The conversation the Diana in the graveyard had with me was about how she felt I loved her. And that
How
we
she
were meant
felt
to be together.
Xolkin Yeah.
Maybe
Xolkin.
shit,
She's in love with him.
Xolkin was not there. She was speaking with me.
I don't like it, Molfin. I don't want her name on this thing.
Then
Digitio
We
says
are-
shatter works every time.
Yes.
maybe you have to like kiss to cure the enchantment.
Lachlan, I don't think that's how it works.
It's worth a try.
now we're in a Disney movie.
Lachlan, I like the way you think. Does she have any
Unless
weapons
it's
near
the-
her? If I
wait,
kiss her, I
Lachlan.
might get stabbed.
Wait,
She has to be awake if we're gonna kiss
guys, Lachlan has a point. What if the names are put on via a kiss?
Hmm.
Diana did kiss Xolkin, and I'm not sure about Kella, but I know he had a thing for her.
I bet they did more than kiss.
Maybe, but
Shall we find out, Callista?
whoa! I don't want my name on that thing either. Thank
I
you
put
very
out
much.
my lips like
Can I just palm their faces at the same time and push them?
Yes, absolutely. It happens.
As the hand hits Molfin's face, he's just going to kiss her hand.
God damn it!
And then look at the back of the dagger. Did Callista's name appear?
Nowhere to be found, Molfin. Nowhere to be found.
God. Oh,
Well, it certainly didn't work with me kissing your hand. Not quite what I had in mind when we said tested by a kiss, but
I
you
meant
have to kiss the mouth.
he's got a point. And I really don't want to be the test subject on this one.
So we should go find somebody to kiss Gramps.
Ew.
Wait,
it
you
seems
said
to be
they were all
female names.
female. They all had black eyes. You were in a graveyard.
Yes.
Do you
Sounds
really
romantic.
add more women to that graveyard?
If we are going to be removing the enchantment from it, obviously Diana is not dead. I mean, she's sleeping right there. She's snoring like Moby does.
She's not dead, but did you not see how devastated she was for a long time?
I understand this. Thus, we are trying to test this and find out what it is so we know we are dealing with the enchantment.
Okay. Oh, fuck.
Gramps, we can go pick up girls together.
Ew. Oh my god.
As you guys finish your last couple of statements, you all kind of you hear like a stirring, just slight a spit, and you look over and Diana is sitting up and she's just looking at all of you.
Finally.
As if she might have heard that last couple of things you guys just said.
About the kissing?
Hey.
I'm sorry. What? What just happened? Who is? Ew. Just. Ew.
Diana, you don't need to hide your feelings from me.
It's
I have
okay.
seen the vision in the dagger. I understand how you feel.
The
Diana?
what in the where? Excuse?
Diana, do you recognize this dagger?
Not at all. I don't think. No. Never. Can I investigate and see? Can I investigate the dagger?
If they hand it to you, sure.
Can I see it?
Molfin's holding on to it. He's reluctantly.
Open.
I finally get to examine a new toy and everybody wants to play with it.
Welcome to my life.
Molfin reluctantly hands the dagger over to Diana. Diana, if you want to roll an investigation check, you may.
Okay. Oh, I rolled an 8.
Yeah, as you're kind of looking over it, you you do see the same things that I've kind of described to everybody, the teardrop-shaped gemstones embedded around the obsidian semicircle in the center. It almost looks like, it kind of looks like a flower symbol. It looks like this black semicircle with all these teardrop-shaped gemstones that kind of just stick out. There's 6 of them, all different colors. And whenever you flipped yours over, you can see that your name in Elven is etched into the one at the top.
What is this? Whose is this?
Can I try something?
Are you asking me or are you asking Diana?
DM. Yeah, I'm asking DM.
Okay, sure. You can always
Can
try
I
something.
that on the dagger?
Dispel magic. Choose any creature, object, or magical effect within range. A spell of 3rd level or lower on the target ends. Yes, you start your enchantment, your kind of incantations, and you kind of point towards the dagger as you're doing this. You guys all notice. Molfin, do you have dispel magic? You don't? Okay.
1 level rogue, I'm not high enough.
Okay, gotcha. So you're kind of trying to understand what spell Callista's casting right now, but you're really not too sure. Lachlan, do you have it? You don't have it, do you?
No.
Okay. Diana, do you have it?
No, I do not.
Okay, so none of you really know exactly what Callista's doing.
Does it look like she's pointing at the dagger specifically, or is she just sort of generally gesturing at Diana?
Yeah, it seems like her attention is directed towards the dagger. And as this this spell kind of ends, Callista, you're not sure it had any effect.
What is this? What
I don't
What
know.
is this? Why is my
Lachlan
name
said he
on
found
here?
it somewhere, and it has your name and Kella's name. My best
name?
guess is it's Xolkin's, but I'm not 100% sure. I've never seen anything like this before, and from what Molfin was describing he saw in a vision from it, it's not good, Diana.
What was the vision?
Well, it was you speaking with me about how you felt we were in love and meant to be together.
That definitely does not sound like me. That sounds very, very out of character.
It was you as you stand in front of me now with just blacked out eyeballs.
Black
In a graveyard.
eyes?
In a
No,
graveyard, and you weren't the
God.
only one. There was other women there.
What other women do what other-
Kella and other ones he didn't recognize. I'm assuming they're these names, and I'll point to like Umi and.
Yeah, you can start to Diana. You start to read the other names as Callista points them out. You're at the top. Kella is just to the left of you, and it kind of goes. I guess that would be counterclockwise. It's going to the left. As my cat makes another guest appearance on the stream tonight. Thank you, Belle Cat. Great job. So Diana, you're at the top. Then Kella. I gotta go this way, counterclockwise. Kella, and then Avelina down towards the bottom. Then the very center at the bottom is Lucia, Oriel, then Umi.
Oh my god, so what? I take out the stone that Xolkin gave me, and I want to compare it to the stone that has my name set on it. It's similar, right?
As you flip over the dagger and you look at where in position your name is carved in the black obsidian semicircle, and you open your hand and look at the teardrop-shaped gemstone that you hold in your hand, you can see that they're the exact same gem.
What about Kella's? Take out the one I gave you.
Oh, okay. I take out Kella's as well.
You look at Kella where Kella's name is, and you hold out the gem. They are both rubies. Red rubies. Now, the ones in the dagger are smaller, but they're shaped exactly the same as the ones that fit in the palm of your hands.
So what does this mean? Is this some kind of binding? Am I bound to this thing? I mean, you said that you attuned to it and that you saw me in a vision, and is my soul in this thing?
I do not know. May I try something? Let me see the dagger and Keller's jewel.
Okay, I hand it over.
Gramps, what are you doing?
Setting Keller's jewel on the ground, holding it between two fingers, taking the dagger into the gem.
So wait,
Oh my-
wait, do that again. What exactly were you doing?
Putting the gem on the ground, taking the dagger up, and stabbing it into the gem.
Okay, make an attack roll for me.
Oh my god. Diana
Is it
shook.
prone? Do I get advantage?
Yes, you will.
Is it prone?
I'm within 5 feet of it. He's,
And you
Sneak attack.
get sneak attack because your allies are around you.
I'm surprised. I'm liking it.
So you are attacking
Well, actually-
the ruby gem with the dagger.
Okay, I'm just going to roll my broken dagger because,
Prone stone.
Wow, yes. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay, so it's
Okay. So you guys watch as Molfin sets the red ruby gem down onto the flagstone floor. He picks up this dagger, and as quickly as he brings it... Oh, so you're using your broken dagger? Is that what you were saying?
no, I
you
just
just
rolled
rolled
with
that.
that.
You just rolled it with it. Got it.
Yeah.
So you bring this dagger down, and all of a sudden, that red gem shatters into a bunch of pieces all over the floor. You can see shards of it just kind of spreading out, all next to all your allies' feet around you as Diana, Callista, and Lachlan just kind of watch as this happens. Then, all of a sudden, you see inside the dagger, as you're holding it, that red gem that's inside the dagger shatters as well and breaks to pieces. And then all of a sudden, Lachlan, or Molfin, you find yourself in that cemetery again as you get swept up in this fog of smoke that just billows around you. And all of a sudden, you feel something grab a hold of your neck and yank you close. And all of a sudden, you're looking right into the face of Xolkin, but he doesn't look like Xolkin. Parts of his
Oh my
parts of his flesh are kind of falling off of his face. You can see parts of his skull underneath parts of his face. And he looks at you right in your eyes, and he looks so angry. He looks so mad. And he looks at you and he's like, I will find you. I can see you. I know where you are. Thank you.
Mr. Wizard, get me out of here!
So as this like tornado billows around you again, Molfin, all of a sudden you come to and you're just hacking away at your hand with this dagger, and you guys are watching as Molfin is just hacking at his hand. Blood is just starting to spew out of Molfin's hand.
Molfin.
What just happened?
Well, I don't... Xolkin, I don't believe is dead, but I don't quite think he's alive either. He seems to
Saw
be...
Xolkin?
I saw the half-dead creature that used to be Xolkin.
I knew it was his.
He's rather upset with me for breaking that gem, and he may or may not be traveling to where we are right now to murder us all.
Holy God, what the hell happened?
Bring it.
With the blood pouring out of my hand, turn the dagger over. Is Kella's name still there on the back?
Kella's name is no longer on the back.
Oh my God, I heal him, I cast Cure Wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, I have to roll for that. Bloop.
Oh, I think we found how to remove your name, Diana.
Let's do it.
You
If I
have
can-
no idea what that did. That might have just killed Kella.
That's not good.
If Xolkin is appearing as a half-dead creature, what if his form is deteriorating with each woman that you take off of that dagger? What if killing that stone means killing me, means killing Xolkin?
Well, what if we don't kill Kella and it's actually just taking away his power?
I mean, find Kella is the answer now. We need to know if she's alive. Do a wellness check.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's settled.
That's like the last thing Callista wants to do.
That's literally the last thing Callista needs to hear right now.
Well, this is a can of
She
worms.
might
I
just
just
name
wanted to...
Clarion at this rate. Fuck.
We have to do what we must.
Oh my god. I just wanted to save people from giants and to help bring peace to a warring city. I didn't mean to do any of this.
Is Diana still holding the gem that she was given in her hand?
Yes.
Yes, and you are not taking it from me.
Diana, this is for your own good.
I swear, I cast, ooh, what do I cast?
no.
What do I cast? Don't
I
touch
cast
me.
Maximilian's Earthen Grasp and have a giant hand reach out of the ground and
You could kill me!
You're gonna try to remove the gem from her hand? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm going to restrain her and then rip it out of her hand
Okay,
once she
so-
can't move.
No, you're
Diana,
not.
you need to make a
Callista.
strength save, DC 16
God.
for us,
Oh
as
my
this
God,
hand
oh my
comes up
God.
to try to grab you.
Strength save? Oh my god.
Yeah, strength save. And you make
I
it.
make it.
You make it. You're able to break the bonds of this hand that tries to reach out and grab you, as Molfin casts the spell on you.
Do not try to restrain me again.
Then give us the gem so we can set you free.
Shouldn't we go find
I have
Kella?
no idea
I-
what that does, and now my life is in it, and
We don't
I
know
am
that
so
for sure.
sorry. I am so. If I hadn't have been such an idiot, this wouldn't have happened. I am so sorry.
This is simple. We just have to go find Kella and see if she's okay.
If Kella is alive, I don't know, write her a letter or something. But if she's alive and I have proof that she is alive, then we can destroy the stone, and I will give it to you. For now, no clue what this is doing.
Seems
And I'm
fair.
keeping it.
Callista, a little assistance here if you... Do you really want to go find Kella?
No.
Do you really want to kill me by accident?
Diana's life is very important to all of us, I think. We don't want to risk it.
Yeah, I'm like, just keep you alive in combat, and if you die, I can resurrect you. It's, kind of important.
And
Maybe
you're a
don't kill me.
friend.
Yeah, that too.
We do have...
To Nightstone!
Pull out a little thing. I do have this little vial of red liquid. Should something happen to you, it should be able to resuscitate you.
Oh, that does not
What if
make
you
me
get
feel any
shattered?
better. This might be magically attuned. My soul might get absorbed with it. Is there a possibility that you could, go back into the dagger and investigate more further? No, that's a bad plan.
No, it's not.
What if she
a
goes
worse
in?
plan.
What
Well,
if I went in? Could I attune to this thing and go into the dagger? Can I confront Xolkin?
You can make an attempt to attune to it. It would take a little bit of time.
Ooh,
You'd have to get it out of my possession first.
Molfin, how would you feel if I attuned to it and went in the dagger? I feel, I don't know. Xolkin can't kill me. He knows if he's drawing power from my life. So
But what if you go in and then creepy Diana takes over and she's the one that comes out?
Can I take it then? Can I try it? If we don't want to risk Diana, can I try to go in?
I mean, I trust Callista to.
You can send me in.
No.
But you don't trust me, Diana. We have such a connection between us. You even admitted it in the Shadow Realm.
Oh my god, that shadow was a stone. It wasn't me. It was... Okay, oh god. I can't have this talk with you right now. Callista attuned to the thing.
Okay. I'll try. Callista's not liking any of this, so she wants to know what the hell's going on.
So, Callista, you kind of sit down and are kind of inspecting, investigating over the dagger.
I'll put the griffin in my griffin in Diana's lap and let her
Okay.
I
Cuddle with the
have
griffin.
some griffin cuddles. Feel better.
Yeah.
So as the fire, you guys have been kind of going back and forth with this dagger for a while, and the fire is starting to kind of dwindle down a little bit as you're sitting next to it in the dim firelight. You kind of run your hands down, kind of running your fingers over the smooth gems that are left on the dagger, and all of a sudden you start to begin getting swept up in this whirlwind of this kind of like smoke, but it's more like a fog that just goes all around you, kind of willowing around you. You find yourself standing in this cemetery, this graveyard, and as you're standing there, you're in the midst of everything, and you see Diana start to just slowly walk and approach you. You see all these other women standing different areas around you, and you kind of can think about it's really just like they were on the dagger. They're in the same, you can kind of almost see the women and kind of put their names to their faces as you start to see them. In the place where Kella was positioned on the dagger, you see an empty hole in the ground with a gravestone on the other side of it, with a large mound of dirt piled up beside the empty hole, and a shovel stuck into it, just sticking out of it. And then the women, it doesn't appear that there's anything in the hole. It seems to be empty. But then you hear all around you, it's like this emulating voice. Well, hello there. Pretty girl.
Oh no, that's...
And that's where we'll end tonight's episode.
Oh, you do not want to.
Oh my god.
This is the last thing Callista wants to say.
Y'all should have helped Molfin. It would have all been over. But no. Nobody trusts the gnome.
Trust me,
He's only got
Callista
age
will be
experience.
helping.
What's
Just
that?
give it time.
I tell you what, that got dark quick, didn't it? My goodness.
Damn.
I just told Chad this entire episode was MG's fault.
Everything is MJ's fault.
Excuse me.
Well, I know we went a little bit later tonight, guys, but actually it's perfect timing.
Well, we started late.
We started about 25 minutes late, so this is actually perfect. We ended up about 11:25. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this episode of Storm King's Thunder. I don't think it had anything to do with Storm King's Thunder, but we played anyway.
Talked about giants.
We had a little talk about giants in there. Yeah.
It was supposed to be a simple, you attune to the dagger, here's what it does. Nope, I get sucked into a demon dimension and flirted with by Diana.
But that was pretty amazing. That was some really good role play. I love how Lachlan responds to everything when people accuse him of stuff. That is just that part of his character is awesome. And Kloppity, thank you so much for hanging out with us, being active in the chat. We always love seeing you. Digitio, if you're still here, thanks a lot. Aerogroth, I'm not sure if you made it back or not, but thanks for jumping in.
You got Feiji Went still here. Ippy right.
Okay, yeah. If you guys, let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and do this as a player and open it up to viewer chat as well. How about we pick a moment tonight where we can award a natural 20? I'm going to hold on to the natural 1 because really I just didn't get a chance to do any rolling tonight. So I'm just going to hold on to it until the next time that I get a chance to actually make some rolls. The last 2 sessions have been really heavy role play, so we haven't really been rolling too many dice. So if you guys want to spout out moments for... I'm going to give you all DM's inspiration for tonight because that was simply amazing. And I'm gonna give Moby some inspiration too because he's been stressed out about his computer not working tonight. so
Moby jumped off that table into the keg of ale. It was a beautiful dive. Definitely
At least he won't
inspiration
drown.
worthy.
Oh, and Kloppany is chiming in the chat. We chatted on Flintstone's kazoo last week. I found out it's gazoo with a G. Didn't want to mess up anyone's trivia night.
Oh, there you go. So Kloppany is saying toss up between Diana and Callista for me.
Yeah, you know what? Where Molfin, when you got back from that episode and Diana and Callista at the end, man, I started shaking. Things got tense. Like I was swept up in it. And I didn't really say much.
I was shaking, okay? I was like, no.
I can't believe just because Diana was a hoe, she got us into this stupid situation.
I follow you, Kloppany, and I really wanted that spell to work too. I haven't used it yet effectively. Kloppany talking about how, and I quote, Diana did not fall into Molfin's clutches.
Yeah.
Makes Molfin sound like a supervillain. And Diana's the lowest lane that he's trying to kidnap and spirit away from the hero.
Oh my god.
I love what Diana or what Zoss put in the chat. How was I to know my actions would have consequences? that's
Diana shipping Clarion Callista broke me. So romantic.
Oh
Damn
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Trying to be like straight-faced Callista, I can't.
a lot of this episode had me on the edge of my seat tonight, so that was amazing. So
I definitely enjoyed the play between Lachlan and Callista too. That whole little
Oh my
piece.
Oh yeah. Well, that's definitely why I'm definitely giving everybody DM's inspiration for tonight because there was some amazing role play and conversation going on between you guys, and not just on the along the lines of just good conversation, but conversation that went deeper into the engagement of the game. So that was good. But I'm gonna have to go with we'll go with our chat on this one. We're gonna give Diana the D20 for next week.
She stood up for the people of Bryn Shander
She
too. That was
did stand up for the people of Bryn Shander when no one else wanted to.
we're like F them.
5,000 gold, yeah.
Well, build an army. Okay, give me the money too. Oh, you don't have money? Okay, let's go earn some money first, then we'll build the army.
See, Lachlan's being logical and leading with the head. Diana is like, no, heart.
Okay, can I just point out, Diana, heart in a dagger. Logic, not in a dagger.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And we got an interesting thing happening. The party knows that breaking that gem got rid of the gem out of the dagger, and that Kella is no longer in the space where Callista is currently right now. But I guess we will find out next time, possibly next time, what could have happened. I don't know. Hate to have that gold gem be shattered and then Diana just black out in front of everybody. It'd be a
shatter in a million people.
DM, don't make Diana even more paranoid. You're not helping.
It's not gonna, Diana. This is gonna be, or Zoss. This is gonna be a very long week for you with not a lot of sleep.
At this point, 4 of us are going to start tomorrow morning with levels of exhaustion.
Yeah, because you guys have been up like doing stuff all night. It's like
Sleep in.
Callista's meeting a dragon before dawn.
Oh,
I am. I don't think
What-
Callista's getting much sleep.
We're going to have to drag Callista out of the dagger world. So Molf can take the dagger so she can go with the dragon.
So Diana can keep the dagger because Homegirl's gonna want that.
It's
That's
my
what Chris told her.
dagger.
It belongs to the gnome.
Lachlan, I don't think you're getting that dagger back. It's gonna be one of us three holding it.
Well, I don't want to keep all of our viewers too late as we discuss next week. We'll have to keep everybody on the edge of their seat until we get back next time. But for those of you that tuned in, thank you so much. I want to thank Team MZ, Many-Sided Dice, Nightshade Creations. Thank you all. Don't forget to tune in on Mondays. We have Insight Check. It's kind of like some good buddies of ours, and Christy, who plays Callista, is also in that campaign. Is it 1 p.m. Eastern? Is that what time it's? Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's
I'm pretty
right.
sure it's 1 p.m. It starts
1
right
p.m.
after my
Well,
lunch is over.
It's about like 1:30. We start a little bit later now because
Okay.
of someone's got school, so we start around 1:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, 1:30
Roughly.
Eastern on Mondays. Tune into Insight Check. If you're not caught up on their episodes, you can check them out on YouTube as well, and you can check out Proficiency Bonus on YouTube and catch up to all the episodes up to episode 20, which we're at right now. We will be live next week, hopefully without all the technical issues that we had tonight. We'll be live next
Right.
week for episode 21, which should be a doozy. So make sure you tune into that. It's going to be
Oh,
fun.
doozy and a half.
Also, don't forget on Monday nights, we Matthew, who plays Molfin in this campaign, he DMs
know what
our
that was.
Tomb of Annihilation stream on Monday nights, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. And it seems like every week they are getting into some kind of mess. And I absolutely love being able to listen in on their stream on Monday nights. So make sure you guys tune into that and check that out. Anybody else have anything that they want to shout out to viewers, YouTubers, before we head on out?
My heart's
Thank you
gonna
all
jump
so
out of my
much.
chest.
No, no.
Some of our party may be dead before our next stream is,
It could happen.
the heart
Having a
attack.
stroke.
Well, thank you guys once again for tuning in. Once again, my name is Michael, Dungeon Master here for Storm King's Thunder on Proficiency Bonus.
Good game.
And that was a good game. Good game, everybody. You guys did a splendid job. Moby, you did an excellent job as well. Playing
Silent and strong.
yeah, silent and withdrawn. He played perfectly his character tonight. So we'll hopefully get him back in tune with everything next time. So during your week, don't forget to add your proficiency bonus. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, love you. Bye.